Good afternoon from Blackpool Pleasure Beach. I'm at the other end, this time at the south entrance, because I'm about to walk all the way up there with my daughter. She's hiding over there. She doesn't want to be on camera today. She's not feeling it. But yeah, we are going to do Walk the Big One XL. I think it was 150, maybe £155 each. I'll put the price on screen. Now, I need to double check this one, but my understanding is we walk up the lift hill. I think we might walk the brake run or the second drop. I'm not quite sure which. And then I think we go in the maintenance shed. So looking forward to it. We'll obviously go in, get a safety briefing, get all kitted out and all that sort of stuff, and then start the climb. It is a beautiful day. Hopefully it stays a beautiful day. And yeah, should get some cracking views up there. Unlike towers, pretty sure I'm allowed to film. I think I can even put the chest mount on, so hopefully you can see lots of it. But let's get inside. Step one, sign your life away. Just all the usual sort of stuff to make sure that you're happy with it and all that kind of good stuff. And then Andy has said allowed to film, so that's totally fine. And then let's just get the safety briefing, get the harnesses on, and go have some fun. And Sophie didn't realise what she was doing. I said to her, you know, because it's not cheap, I said, do you want to walk the big one? Yeah. And then we get here and I go, you're walking at the top of that, and she went, you told me I wasn't.
I would be fine if you told me in advance.
So I'm curious how far she gets before she bottles out. But I'm going to do all of it, so should be good fun.
The ride itself, it's got some nice stats to it. The official height is 235 feet, that's when the tide is out. And that's from sea level, and the ride goes up to 85 miles an hour, and it's a very long ride as well. As I said, it's the longest coaster in Europe, with nearly a mile in length of track. There's been quite a few changes to the ride, particularly in recent years. We're actually in the process of retracking the ride. We plan to retrack the entire ride, but we've been doing between 50 metres and 100 metres each winter during the closed season. Ultimately, we can't imagine the park now without the big one, and we want the big one to still be here in another 30 years' time. For a very short period of time, it was actually the world's tallest and fastest roller coaster, and then 25-30 years later, it did hold on to, up until last year, the tallest roller coaster in the UK, until Thorpe Park built theirs 1 foot taller, which we're not salty about. Tonight's experience then, so what we're going to do is we're going to take you to various locations around the ride, and we're going to start low, and we're actually going to get a bit lower, and then we're going to go out higher, and we're going to walk around the ride to various locations. You'll get various different viewpoints, including some really cool views, different aspects of the park, and we'll end with going up to the summit, which is 420 steps, up to the top of the pull-up. You'll get that, and tonight you're going to get a fabulous view because the weather is perfect.
Right, got all my kit on, including the old chest harness, so I should be able to take you along. I've got my phone in my pocket as well, so let's go. Now, you probably saw the clip there. This is going to be a little bit different to normal, so let's find out what's included.
Couple of things about the station here. The station is actually really tall and thin with a very small footprint, and that was deliberate because we are so precious for space at the Pleasure Beach. When it was designed, and the station was actually designed by Fiona Thompson, one of the Thompson family, who's an architect by trade, is heavily involved in the design of it. It's quite unusual to have a tall, thin station. Does anyone know why we might have a tall, thin station other than the fact we don't want a big footprint on in the park? It's because we store the trains in a stacked position on this ride. As I mentioned when we were over there, we have 3 trains, and we do still have 3 trains, although we only run 2 at a time. And we can store them all in the station, stacked on top of each other. So when you're in the station, you see the running track. But there's actually 2 levels below that. There's a maintenance bay where they can carry out work and so on. And then there's what's called the pit, which is a level below that as well. So we can store all of our trains in there and carry out works even when the ride is running above it. If we wanted to introduce a train onto the system, what happens is we use a system called DMAG, which is basically a big elevator that lifts everything that I've just said, the maintenance one, the pit, the running track, all up so that you could introduce a train that was stored right at the bottom down in the pit onto the running track. So it comes up into line, and then you can roll your train out and then introduce it to the system. But when you do that, you have to have somewhere to put everything that was above that train, and so that's why the station is the shape that it is, to allow for that DMAG to operate. And the good news for you is you're going to get to see a little bit more of that. So what's your step guide? There we go, guys. The queue line height is above where you are now, and the air gates and so on. And you can see the running track going through the station there. Below that we have the maintenance bay that I mentioned, and the lights on down below. Can you pop them on so we can see? So what we'll do is we'll light up the pit area below as well. They're on. Okay, so you can see that. So you can see all of this massive structure part is the bit that all moves to enable the train, that maybe if we're storing a train down in the pit, to go up into the running track. We can only lift 2 trains at a time on it though, and so you don't want, if you're bringing a train up from below, you don't want a train in the station part, because there isn't the clearance at the top in the station to allow that train to be there. So it's something you obviously have to think about before you start moving trains around. If you think each train weighs just over 5 tons, plus you could, if the trains are bagged, you can add that in, plus another 7 tons for the rest of the metal structure around it and so on. It's a big piece of kit that's lifting, and it's all lifted on cables. And the other bit that's in here that you might not be aware of is actually the 2 PLCs that we've got, which are these 2 behind you here, which I know don't look very exciting necessarily, but actually these are the heart of the ride. And the ride, when it's running, always has effectively 2 computers that are doing what's called handshakes with each other the whole time. And basically, if one notices something that the other hasn't noticed, it will flag it, and vice versa. So you've always got that fail-safe in place. And so basically what it's looking for is the position of the trains around the track due to the various sensors. And if anything's not right, the ride will go into shutdown, which is what it's supposed to do. We're going to try something new with you. Now, we have practiced this, but we're going to have a go and see how it is. But luckily, if it all goes well, you'll get to go through the photo tunnel. Now, what you'll notice when we go through here is we will trigger the camera, which is fine. It's also wet and a bit slippery, and you'll know one of the things with Pleasure Beach is we were originally built on the beach. The drainage on the ground is quite problematic for us, so it is wet here. There is a pump in here that gets rid of that, but just be careful because the floor is going to be slippery here, alright?
Some of the dinosaurs look kind of new, and there's speculation some of them were taken from river caves.
No, the dinosaurs that are here were always here, and they've been refurbished. We have a studio, it's called PB Studios, that does a lot of our refreshing work. Like everything, we have to do bits at a time because we can't do everything. It would be lovely. You'll see when we go around here, everyone looks at the skull fountain and I cringe when I see that. We'll eventually get to it, but we've been through a program of doing the dinosaurs over the years. So no, the dinosaurs you see here are not those from the river caves. And you'll also notice that you can, unusually for a steel coaster, you can actually walk the entire length of the big one track, which is very unusual for a steel roller coaster. So like it's normal on a wooden coaster, you can walk along the entire thing, which we do actually every day for inspection. When you're inspecting steel coasters, it's not done in the same way. You don't walk the track in that way. However, on the big one, we can, for maintenance purposes, walk the entire track, including down the first drop if we really needed to. So it's a bit unusual. And someday I'll get an experience where you might be able to do some of that. We'll see. At the start of this, when I said if the wind were to slow the train down or something were to happen, the train would rock back and forth and end up at the lowest point between two hills. I said that it was very easy for us to come up and get you off. So let's take you up onto one of these. You can see exactly what I mean. Okay. So guys, this is one of the places that we might have to come and retreat, and we have actually once come and retrieved guests from this area. This is actually a good place for the train not to make it, which sounds odd, but from here we can actually winch it up into the block break up there. The same thing actually for where we were before, where the photograph is taken in the tunnel. And we did go through a little period, I'm not sure I should tell you this, but we went through a period on the first day of the season for about 3 years in a row, actually dipping the train in the tunnel at the start. And it's a nice, quick, easy one to rectify in comparison to something somewhere else. But in the event that we did have to come up and get people, this is how we would do it. So we would get to here, release using that pedal release the restraint. So you can see how easy it was for you to get up here. You're literally going down some steps and then you're back in the park. And then poor old engineering have to come in, and they'll, in the case from here, they actually split the train up into sections, because obviously it's a lot lighter, and then they winched it up in sections, put it back together, connected it back together in the block break, and then released it to get it back to the station. That's how they did it from here. In the order that you want to go in, because obviously once you're attached, because you're desperate to go first, then go through the gate here first, alright? Okay, you're going to follow me. What happened during that sort of coaster boom period is the first coaster over 200 feet in height, first hyper coaster opened at Cedar Point, Magnum XL 200. It was a bit of a game changer for the industry. We're a family business, we're still a family business, and Amanda Thompson's dad, Jeffrey, went and rode that coaster at Cedar Point and basically said, I want one of those. And so that's why we're stood on this coaster today. It's a really nice sort of legacy story. But what's also cool about here is you can really see the scope of Pleasure Beach, and it's really unusual for a park. We've got 10 roller coasters currently in total, and to have 8 of them all in a big row across the park from all the ages, from the big one in the 90s, Infusion that we moved from Pleasureland Southport, classic old Big Dipper over 100 years old, obviously state-of-the-art Icon, and then harking back, same supplier as Icon but from the 1980s, the Mack Avalanche Bobsleigh, lovely Revolution, my favourite, the first looping coaster in Europe, and then over to the little Blue Flyer, the wooden coaster, and then the orange Nickelodeon Streak behind that. So to have 8 coasters all in a row so compact is really, really unusual. In fact, I can't think of another park in the world that's got the setup in quite the same way. You also now get to see Launchpad, which is the second tallest thing in the park, 185 feet. And it's weird from here to see the Valhalla Ride building in the same way, because you get, when you're in the park, you obviously see the rock face and the waterfront. From here you can see the 2 show buildings behind the ride quite clearly as well.
Hi.
You're crazy.
Is it all right down there?
Yeah, it's chilly.
It's chilly. You should be up here. If you think it's cold down there, get up here.
Well, thanks. You're the mad one.
I'm the mad one, yes. Well, things you do.
You are right, be so interesting.
What was that?
That was good. Great views. Exhausting going up. Is that right coming back down?
How many steps have you done?
Not enough. Well, that's us back down again. That was absolutely fantastic. Definitely worth the money. I mean, you pretty much saw what we did there, right? So we went into the station, down into the maintenance bit, not into the pit. Then we did the... what did we do next? We went onto the brake run. No, the mid-course brake run. And then... Well, actually, no, we went in the tunnel bit, then on the brake run, and then all the way up to the top, which, I mean, the views up there are stunning. And even an unfit 44-year-old man can get there. So, happy days. One thing I forgot to say there, the email that we got said the experience lasts about 60 minutes. It didn't. I didn't think it would because there's so much involved in it. It lasted 2 hours. And we've got a 5-hour drive to our next stop because I'm away to 2 other parks. So, it's going to be a late one. It's interesting, I don't know if I got it on camera or not, but Andy was saying the plan is to retrack the whole thing. So a lot of people have wondered why they've stopped retracking. I suspect because they're doing a lot this year. But they are planning to start it back up again and do the rest of it. So curious to see if that will be Tazaka or somebody else. But they clearly plan on keeping it around, which is... you know, good to see. So listen, I've really enjoyed that. Absolutely fantastic. I'm sure there's plenty of footage in there that I can share with you, unlike towers. So anyway, as always, if you've enjoyed this one, hit that like button and please do subscribe. And if you've been on this, let me know what you thought. I've been Chris, you've been watching Coaster Dad. See you in the next one.